Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're enjoying summer. I hope everyone will have a wonderful Shabbos, whether you're here in Brookline or traveling elsewhere. We daven that this upcoming week should be a good week for all of us, for our community, and for all of Israel, especially davening for a week of divine protection and blessing for all of those fighting on behalf of the Jewish people. In this week's Parsha, Teitzei is the Parsha that includes the greatest number of mitzvahs of any Parsha in the Torah, and one of those mitzvahs is the mitzvah to have fair and honest weights and measures. Lo yeh lecha b'kischa even va'aven gedola u'ktana. You may not have in your pocket two different stones, two different weights, a big one and a small one. So when you want it to come out a little bit heavier when you're selling, you'll use the big one. When you want it to come out a little bit lighter, when you're buying it, whatever you're buying, the food stuff, whatever it may be, you'll use the smaller one. Even shlema v'tzedek yelach. You should have a whole and honest, righteous weight. Laman yarichu yamecha al hadama, in order that Hashem will bless you to have long days on this land that I'm giving you. Ki soavas Hashem elokecha kol osei eila, kol osei avel. For all who do this, for all who act in such a corrupt manner, it is an abomination to God. Now, on the one hand, the mitzvah to have honest weights, to be honest in business, to be fair, to not be deceitful, to not steal, is an obvious one and needs no explanation more than that, just to be a good person in our interactions with all other human beings. However, the Torah here does seem to be stressing there's something especially so that bothers the Torah here. The extra blessing if we do fulfill the mitzvah, the declaration that it is that someone who does this is abominable. This mitzvah appears earlier in the Torah is repeating it, and there as well the Torah also stresses Lo sasu aval b'mishpat, moznei tzedek, avnei tzedek, v'hein tzedek yelachem. You should be honest, fair, righteous ways. Ani Hashem Elokeichem asher tzeisim meretz Mitzrayim. I am the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt. Ushmartem es kol chukosai v'kol mishpatai v'asis mosam. You must perform my mitzvos. Chazal also stress how important this is and how spiritually destructive it is, someone who violates this mitzvah. One Medrash writes that someone who cheats through dishonest weights, kari avel sanoi mashuka tzcherem v'toeva, he is a despicable, corrupt, abominable person, and it causes all kinds of divine punishment. Chas v'shalom. What is so severe about this avera? What is so important about upholding honest and fair weights and measures? Let us ask one other question before answering it all. The Gemara itself asks, why is this mitzvah necessary? The Torah has already said, you may not steal. If you use a false weight so that the person thinks they're getting more grain from you and they pay you more, or you use a dishonest weight so you're buying from the person more than they realize, you're stealing. You're taking their money, you're taking their stuff. Why is this mitzvah necessary at all? So the Gemara says that yes, of course, if you actually buy and sell with dishonest weights, you're already violating lo sigzol, do not steal. But in addition, the Torah says lo yelecha b'kischa even v'evan. You may not have a dishonest weight in your pocket, just holding on to before you've even used the dishonest weight. Just having it, you are in violation of the Torah. And that is one additional idea that is innovated in this parsha in our psukim. What is this idea that you violate the mitzvah even before you actually use it? The Nesiv and many other commentaries explain that this prohibition is not just about stealing from someone else, but rather to use and even just to own dishonest weights reflects a deficiency in our faith in Hashem. It is a declaration that I do not believe in Hashem. Someone who just sees something that they want and they grab it, okay, they stole, they're overcome with a certain desire, urge, or want. But this person methodically, in a premeditated manner, made a plan, made dishonest weights. The person has thought it out. It's not because of an impulse. And that reflects a certain thinking that I can hide the truth so no one can see it. No one can see it, not even God can see it. I can evade his watchful eye and trick everyone and even trick God. And it's that lack of belief in Hashem, that the Torah is so upset about, and that is really at the root of this sin. That is what the Nesiv and other commentaries explain. I'd like to spin that in a slightly different direction and suggest that this aver of having dishonest weights reflects a certain attitude and way of thinking and living life that is incredibly damaging for any aspect, for all aspects of a Torah and moral life. Such a person thinks, in short, that he or she can cheat the system. The person thinks there's a way to cut a corner, to get a little bit more out of the deal so that no one will notice, that they don't have to actually work as hard or as long as necessary to make however much money. They have a trick, a dishonest one, in order to get it easier. And is that mentality that you can cut a corner, that you can cheat the system, that you can cheat other people, that you can trick people, that you cannot give in, so to speak, a full and honest day's work or commitment, that is an incredibly damaging attitude, because that can come through in any aspect in life. The person will then think, I don't really have to be fully loyal or committed to a dear friend or a spouse or someone else. There's a way to cut the corner, to get the job done easier, to not really do it, but make the person think that I did it. That will come through in how we perform positive mitzvahs vis-a-vis Hashem, the observance of any other mitzvah. The person will cut a corner. The person won't do it 100%. They'll say, I can sort of cheat the system, etc. That attitude is antithetical to a true Torah life, because a true Torah moral life, in such a life, anything real and meaningful and lasting is created through true loyal commitment and dedicated hard work. When it comes to the real things in life, you can't cheat the system. You can't cut the corner, especially in a dishonest way. And this person, with his dishonest weights and measures, that is exactly what they are doing, that is exactly what they represent, and that is exactly what the Torah is so upset about. You can't cheat the system. We need to apply ourselves in an honest way, in a dedicated way, in any aspect of life. But Hashem does promise us, if we do that, if we apply ourselves, if we are honest in business or any aspect of life, then Leman yarichu yamecha al ha'adama asher Hashem elokecha nosin lach. Hashem will be with us. He'll be our partner, and He will bless all of our endeavors in every aspect of our lives. Good Shabbos, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.